Most people think of stress as just a feeling, a bad day at the office, or a tight deadline. Well, what if I told you that your body is currently brewing a chemical cocktail that, if left unchecked, acts as a growth fertilizer for the things we fear most? Here's what most people don't realize: your brain cannot distinguish between a lion chasing you and a stressful email from your boss. In both scenarios, your adrenal glands flood your system with cortisol. While this survival hormone is designed to save your life in an emergency, staying on for weeks or months creates a biological environment where tumors don't just exist, they thrive. Researchers at Stanford University discovered something chilling. Chronic stress doesn't just make you tired, it actually reprograms your immune cells to stop patrolling for cancer. Today, we're decoding the mechanism of the death hormone and showing you exactly how to flip the switch back to repair mode before the damage becomes permanent. The Harvard discovery: cortisol versus the natural killer cells. A landmark study from Harvard Medical School found that when cortisol levels remain chronically elevated, it leads to the rapid atrophy of the thymus gland, the training ground for whoop put the wop. The mechanism: under normal conditions, your body produces natural killer NK cells. Think of these as your internal SWAT team. Their only job is to find and destroy mutated key cells before they turn into tumors. However, high cortisol levels bind to the receptors on these NK cells, effectively handcuffing them. The consequence: when your SWAT team is sidelined, mutated cells are free to multiply without interference. This is why people under extreme, prolonged grief or work-related burnout often see a sudden spike in inflammatory markers. You aren't just stressed, you are descending, effectively immunocompromised. The sugar connection: how stress feeds the growth. Here's the hidden link between your mind and your metabolism that Dr. Berg often highlights in practice. The evidence: scientists at the University of California found that cortisol is a glucocorticoid, meaning its primary job is to raise blood glucose to provide emergency energy. The mechanism: even if you aren't eating sugar, cortisol forces your liver to convert protein into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. It then inhibits insulin, keeping the kekabur, you say, that sugar floating in your bloodstream. The consequence: this creates a buffet for abnormal cell growth. Since cancer cells often have significantly more insulin receptors than healthy cells, they hijack this stress-induced sugar. By staying stressed, you are inadvertently spoon-feeding the very thing you're trying to prevent. The DNA glitch: shortening your lifespan at the source. We've all seen people who seem to age 10 years during a single year of crisis. It's not just a lack of sleep. The evidence: Nobel Prize-winning research on telomeres showed that chronic stress directly accelerates the shortening of our DNA end caps. The mechanism: high cortisol levels increase oxidative stress within the mitochondria, your cell's power plant. This creates free radicals that batter your DNA. When your telomeres get too short, the cell enters a state called senescence. It becomes a zombie cell that refuses to die and instead pumps out inflammatory signals to its neighbors. The consequence: this creates a pro-inflammatory field effect in your organs, making the surrounding tissue more susceptible to genetic mutations and tumor formation. You are literally aging from the champion. The gut-brain axis, where stress becomes physical. If you feel sick to your stomach when stressed, pay attention. This is where the Huberman Lab often focuses on the neurobiology of the gut. The evidence: research published in Nature suggests that stress-induced cortisol increases intestinal permeability, often known as leaky gut. The mechanism: cortisol breaks down the tight junctions in your gut lining. This allows lipopolysaccharides, LPS, toxic bacterial byproducts, to leak into your bloodstream. Your body responds with systemic inflammation. The consequence: systemic inflammation is the gasoline for almost every modern chronic disease. It creates a state of hypervigilance in the body, where the liver begins producing C-reactive protein, CRP, a major marker for both heart disease and internal limb. Breaking the loop, the vagus nerve hack. Now that we understand the damage, how do we stop the death hormone from taking over? The evidence. Studies on the parasympathetic nervous system show that we can manually override the cortisol response through the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body. The mechanism. By utilizing specific physiological size, double inhale, long exhale, or cold exposure, you signal the brain that the lion is gone. This triggers the release of acetylcholine, which acts as a natural brake on cortisol production. The consequence: within minutes, your heart rate variability, HRV, improves, your blood sugar stabilizes, and your natural killer cells are released from their handcuffs to resume their search and destroy mission. The 24-hour challenge and final decoding. Most people wait for their circumstances to change to lower their stress. That is a losing game. You must change your biology first. The 24-hour challenge, starting tonight. I want you to try the digital sunset. 60 minutes before bed, turn off all screens and bright overhead lights. High-intensity blue light mimics sunlight, spiking cortisol right when it should be at its lowest. Instead, use this hour for a 5-minute breathing exercise or a lukewarm magnesium bath. This one shift can lower your waking cortisol by up to 25% the following morning. If this insight changed how you look at your daily stress, hit the like button so we can reach more people who might be struggling in silence. Share this with someone who needs to hear the truth about what stress is doing to their body. To join our community of health decoders and never miss a biological breakthrough, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Let's keep decoding the science of longevity together. I'll see you in the next video.